Okay, welcome to tutorial number 10. This one's going to be on math scales and scaling. So I'm going to do the best I can to show you how to do this, but I have a different way of doing it once we get to the plotting. But this will work for now, and then I can show you an additional way when we get to the week where we talk about printing and plotting. But first of all, let's go ahead. In order to figure out what your drawing scale needs to be, you need to know a couple different things. First of all, you need to know how big the property is that you're trying to draw and print, and you need to know what sheet size you're going to be using. Standard sheet size of the company I work for plats, for survey plats, is an 11 by 17. So let's go ahead and draw in a property boundary, and then we'll see what scale we need to get that onto an 11 by 17 sheet of paper. So let's draw a polyline. This is not specific, but we're just going to wing it. Okay, specify a start point here, and then the next point. And I'm going to throw in an arc here. So at the command line, you can type A for arc, hit enter, and then it asks you how you want to draw this arc. It has several different options, but I like to use the second point feature, so you hit S for second point, and now it wants to know the second point of an arc. So I want it to be about right there, and the end point of the arc, let's put it there. Now at the command line, to do another arc you could, but I want to go back to a line, so I'm going to hit L for line. Okay, so we're going to draw the next part of our property, and then the next part, and I'm going to close it up. Okay, so there's our property. And you can adjust this if you want by clicking on it and just stretching the vertices, whichever way you choose to do so. So there's our property. Alright, now we want to print this. This survey plat is going to be on 11 by 17 sheet of paper. And so we need to figure out what scale. Well, here's kind of a non-technical way to figure that out. Let's go up here and go to print. And I know we haven't covered this yet, but it's pretty simple, so we'll just look at it quickly. Right here you can change the plotter. Change the plotter, scroll down until you find DWG to PDF. So this will be able to plot to a PDF. And you can select the paper size here. ANSI would be 8.5 by 11 inches. But let's check 11 by 17, ANSI B 11 by 17, like most plats are printed on. And then it asks what plot area. What do you want to plot? Let's put extent. That is the extent of your drawing. And then you can plot an offset. Let's say let's center it. And then here it says plot scale. And you can check fit to paper. And then this will tell you right here, in order to fit your drawing on the paper, you'd have to have a drawing scale of 99.91. Let's look at that and see what it looks like. Let's hit preview over here. So you can see our property completely fits on 11 by 17 piece of paper by almost 100 scale, right? We don't really want it that big because we're going to have a title block, we're going to have the legal description, we're going to have a surveyor's certificate, sign it and seal it. There's going to be a lot more information on this plat. So we don't want it this big because we won't be able to fit everything on there we need. So we need to go up to the next size. And if you recall what I said in the lecture, you want to try to keep your scales in multiples of 100 in accordance with an engineering scale. So you can use an engineering scale to scale off a drawing at 1 inch equals 10, 1 inch equals 20, 30, 40, 60. The scale has 6 edges. Anyway, so then to get this at the next one, we'd have to bump it up to 200 in order for it to match those requirements. So let's set that at 200 and hit preview. Does this not equal the plot scale? Do you want to continue? Yeah, sure. And so that's much better. you can still see everything you need to see, and you'll have plenty of room to put in all the other information. It does look a tad bit small, but we can't go down to 100, so we have to use 200. This will work. Alright, so we figured out you can hit OK to print to a PDF, but I'm going to hit cancel. And we want to make our scale 200. So we can do that a couple different ways. I've showed you how to do that right here. You can hit 1 inch equals 200 feet. I want to show you a different way too. You can come in here to Drawing Utilities and then Drawing Settings. And on the Units and Zone tab, you can pick the drawing unit, and we need to change this right here. It says Imperial to Metric Conversion. We do not use the international foot in surveying. We use the U.S. survey foot. So we need to change that there. And then the scale, we need to change to 1 inch equals 200. Now, there might be a time when it's not on this list. If you see 1 inch equals 300 is not on here. So you can change that here by typing in 300. But 200 is there, so we're going to add it, and apply, OK, and you can see that my scale right here has changed. Okay? So now we have our scale. Alright, we also need to change our drawing unit. With the command line, type in unit. And this drawing unit dialog box comes up. Our length units are going to be decimal, and our precision is going to be 0.00, the hundredth place. Our angle units are going to be not decimal degrees, but degrees, minutes, seconds. And the precision is not going to be degrees, but seconds. So it's going to be to the nearest second. And hit OK there. Alright, now that we've got the drawing scale set, we need to draw in a fin. And as you noticed on the week that we talked about line types, we had to rescale those line types in order for them to be able to distinguish between the lines. Well, the way we did it before is we just changed each one manually until we could see it, and we just used an arbitrary number. But you can use kind of a system to determine what line type they all need to be, what scale each line type needs to be in order to be able to be visible in the drawing at the current scale. And you can change that globally so that every line type that you use will have the same line type scale, and it should be able to be seen because they're all drawn in the same scale, 1 to 1. So let's draw in a fin. Okay, I'm going to get near to the corners, but as you'll know, most fences don't actually hit the corner on a property. So we're going to draw one in, kind of roughly here. And we're going to go up here and close it. And let's change that line type. So we're going to select the line, go to Properties, and change the line type. Change it to Fence Line 2, because that's in there. Okay, so now, as you can see, we can't see the little boxes until we zoom in really close. Well, let's fix that. We can fix that by typing at the command line, type LT scale. And it'll ask you, enter new line type scale factor. Well, the trick is to make your line type scale factor 1/4 of your drawing scale. So a quarter of it. If it's 200, then your line type scale factor is going to be 50. If it's 100, your line type scale factor is going to be 25. So make your line type scale factor 1/4 of your drawing scale. As you can see, now you can see the fence just fine. Let's go back to the property box. Let's change that line type to continuous isn't very interesting. Let's change it to center. And I hit escape, and you can see the dashes in the line. So this scale should work for all the line types that that you choose on your drawing. Okay. Great, so now we have the fence drawn in. We have a line type scale. We have a drawing scale. Now let's insert a bar scale into the drawing. I'm not very happy with the way that AutoCAD Civil 3D does this. Seems a little behind the times. I don't know if I've told you before, but I'm used to using Carlson, and they have a really simple way of doing this. But I haven't found out how AutoCAD Civil 3D does that very easily. If you find one, let me know. I'd love to know. But for now, we're going to do it hard way. So go into your Design Center, open it up, and we're going to find our bar scales. I found somewhere where it said where these things were located. So go into C, Program Files, go to Autodesk, AutoCAD Civil 3D 2011, down to Sample, and then Symbols. And there are quite a few symbols in this folder that you might be able to use in other things. There's north arrows. And here we have map imperial scale bars. We don't want the metric ones, we want the imperial ones. So let's look there at the block. There are 3 different ones, and I like scale bar 2 the best. So that's the one we're going to insert into our drawing. You can click on it and see what it looks like by I'm not real enthusiastic about the different variations they give us, but I'm going to use 2. You can use any of them that you want. But let's insert that into the drawing. And this block is drawn at, this is 1 foot. So when we insert it into the drawing, it's going to be tiny. It's going to be 2 feet long. So let's right click, insert block. And we're going to specify the scale right here. I don't want to specify it on screen. I want to specify it right here. And here's the tricky thing. It doesn't want 200 feet. It wants to know the scale in inches. So 1 inch equals 200 feet. Well, how many inches are in 200 feet? 2,400. So you have to type in inches here what scale you want that bar scale to come in. And so we hit OK, and then it comes in. So that's our bar scale. So 1 inch equals 200 feet, or 1 inch equals 2,400 inches. But it's saying it's 1 foot. We have to edit the text here. So in order to do that, you have to double click on it, select it. It should automatically highlight in this edit block definition. Hit OK. And then I'm automatically going to save this as a different block. I don't want to edit the original. I want to save it as something else. So let's call it 200 foot bar scale. Okay? So we've already saved it as something else, so we're not editing the original. Double click on the 1, and this should say 200. So 1 inch equals 200 feet here. And then double click on this one and change that to 400. So the distance to here should be 200 feet, and the distance from here to here is 200 feet, so a total distance of 400. Alright, so let's close the block editor. Oh, gotta get out of the text. Close the block editor. Wants to know if we want to change them. Yeah, we want to change them. And it didn't change it. Okay, now we gotta go in here. Actually, it did. It's just that we didn't select the correct one. So now close, discard, delete that. Now let's insert that new block we created. So we go to insert and go up here to the top, 200 foot bar scale. And we want it to come in at 2,400. There we go. There it is. It's long, it's complicated, it doesn't make any sense, but that's the only way I could figure out how to do it. By all means, if you find a better way, I'd love to know. So that's it for the for this one. We'll see you in the next lecture for the next one.